WDWNT On the Air is proud to bring to you a WDWNTunes original program. This is Around the Hub. 4 panelists from the Disney fan community come to this show to do battle in the sport of competitive Disney banter. Points are earned for well-thought ideas, and points are lost at the whim of the host. The winner gets 30 uninterrupted seconds of a meet and greet to talk about whatever Disney topic they would like. Our panel for tonight's show. She's a newcomer to WDWNT. It is Ashley Jasmer.
Hi.
He is looking to avenge last week's early exit. Please welcome Eric Lancy.
I will be back.
He is the official legal advisor of WDWNT. Welcome, Ron Deanna.
Hey out there.
And finally, last but certainly not least, he is the mayor, Jason Diffendahl.
Actually, I'm not the mayor, I'm the beard if you read my lower third.
Well, I can't get you and Justin out of my mind. And finally, I said finally before, but really finally, it is me, myself, and I, your host, Patrick Hackett. Welcome to the always interesting live episodes of Around the Hub. This is Season 4, Episode 4. Around the Hub is your source for competitive Disney banter and witty repartee. The game is played by 4 knowledgeable contestants who go through 3 rounds of topics, earning points for well-thought-out ideas and losing them at my whim. The panelist with the most points moves on in each round, with the loser being sent plummeting into the pit of despair. There goes Captain America.
Into the pit of despair!
Just like that. The panelist with the most points at the end of the game wins their very own meet and greet. There they get 30 uninterrupted seconds to talk about whatever Disney topic they would like. You've met the panel. You know the rules. Now, let's play Around the Hub. Nope. Working on this. We'll get there. Our first round on Around the Hub is split into 2 segments, the Rope Drop and Keys to the Kingdom. In the Rope Drop, we focus on the 2 biggest stories of the week, and in Keys to the Kingdom, we take a quick tour around the entire Disney company with some fast, hard-hitting news. Here in the Rope Drop, we focus on dining in Disney World. Ashley, as is tradition, the newest person gets to go first. Menus are changing everywhere! What restaurant or quick service needs a change that has not gotten it?
I personally think that the moderate resorts need a change. I personally don't know the last time their menus were updated, but I know, especially at Port Orleans, I would like to see something that feels a little bit more authentic to the French Quarter. And the same with Riverside. I should be able to go to Riverside and get good Southern home cooking. Maybe that's just being from the South, but I want like good macaroni and cheese. And I'm sorry, but I should be able to go there and order sweet tea, and at least find it somewhere on property. And those sort of, just to make it feel more authentic to the theme of the resorts is what I think would be the best. The ones that need it most.
More authenticity at the moderate resorts would be a great thing. Eric, go ahead.
I actually think that Epcot needs some new counter service restaurants. We go from flower and garden to food and...
We go from flower and garden to food and...
Food and frozen. All right.
Oh, man. Do you remember when I was like, we should totally broadcast this because it cannot get any worse than last week? Terrific.
I don't even know where he is.
He's just there. Like, broadcast him. It's terrifying. It looks like the end of a horror movie. So, once again, this is why we ask questions like, should we broadcast live? We are trying to get the hang of this. Could we hang up on Eric and make him come back?
He could probably hang up and come back himself, but let me eject him and see if that works. All right. Well, I guess He doesn't get to make his point now, does he?
He does not get to make his follow-up point. If he comes back, however, we will give him a chance to rebut. Hopefully, Eric is safe and sound, and no house fires or anything. We will move on because this is live raid telepod. I don't know. It's live something. Ron, Tomorrowland Terrace, The Plaza, and Skipper's Canteen, they've all recently premiered a new or modified menu. Which one do you see as being the most successful?
Given that it's probably the one that's the most significantly different, other than some minor stuff, would be the Tomorrowland Terrace. That has sat either stagnant or just as complete and utter filler for decade and longer now.
Mm-hmm.
The menu looks good, and it looks like it's counter service options that aren't exactly everywhere. There's some stuff that is easily accessible. I think spicy chicken sandwiches are good for just about everybody. The pulled pork banh mi is not as exotic as it probably really seems. But it looks like it's good, quick food that we need another option other than Tomorrowland of Confusion over on that side of the park.
Haven't heard that one in a while. Well, Eric's question is next, so maybe we'll hang on to that until we can have Eric come back. Eric is on his way back. His computer completely shut down on him. He's trying to get back on now.
Oh, and there he goes again.
He was here and then gone.
Yes, in and out.
That was fun, like In-N-Out Burger. That would be a great addition to Walt Disney World.
Springs.
Yeah, the East Coast.
Anywhere on the East Coast, yeah.
That's right. Do you want to? You can ask me my question.
All right, sure. We'll go to. Actually, you're next anyway. I was looking ahead on the script. Jason, sticking with the idea of the Skipper's Canteen, is this the last menu change we will see for a while? Are more changes bound to come?
I'm sure it's not the last menu change we'll see for a while. Skipper Canteen is a brand new restaurant. Every time Disney opens a brand new restaurant with a sort of adventurous menu, it's going to go through its growing pains. Minor changes so far. Certainly, if that type of cuisine doesn't catch on, they'll be in for some more major changes. It really just depends on guest reaction and guest feedback. So I'm sure we're going to see at least a bit more changes to Skipper Canteen, if not a lot more.
I think those are all very valid points. It depends on the success. They kept a lot of the items that we thought they would be going, and now you can get head-on shrimp in 2 different locations. Head-on. Apply directly to the forehead. No? Only infomercial one. Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the problem there were 3 problems when it started. 1, no dining plan. 2, no ADRs. And 3, the weird menu. So they've already started taking ADRs. I haven't heard any reports from anybody if that's made it busier or not. And so the revamp of the menu, which wasn't a real revamp, it was like a rewording more than anything. And we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe they just have to break down and take the dining plan and see how that affects things.
It's interesting with who's taking the dining plan, and now with the Plaza is not taking ADRs anymore. It's walk-ups only. So I'm interested to see where this will go. Jason, go ahead.
I think Skipper Canteen will have to start taking the dining plan. And I think most restaurants are going to start taking the dining plan. The reason that they don't take the dining plan when they first open is because there's always going to be a rush of locals. And, the locals are going to be the ones that really sort of make or break it, in terms of the early reviews. So they don't take ADRs because the tourists really aren't the ones that are going to be the force for change if they don't like a menu. It's going to be the locals. So they block the ADR so that locals can come in and check it out.
Yeah, you got to get those good Yelp reviews in there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Resident. Stalling for Eric. We were told to eject Eric, and you can try and come back in.
He's already been ejected once. I mean, no, he's not here for me to eject. I did that last time, and he's not in here for me to eject, so I'm not entirely sure what else I can do from my end here.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. What just happened over here, Ron? Ron, what is that?
Princess Bride.
Welcome to the pit of despair.
Welcome to the pit of stalling. It's telling him he can't join. I don't know what's going on. We might move on without him in the next couple minutes, and he'll be the one sent into the pit of despair. He does have 1 point, so I mean, you've all already surpassed him. His next topic, pretty good question. Oh, we're getting technical assistance to tell him to try a different browser. One day things will go off without a hitch. I do need to edit the last episode because of things like this. So, Ron, would you like to tell us about your artwork in the back there?
Oh, yeah, the Prologue and the Promise from Horizons. It is probably the greatest piece of Epcot art of the lost original murals.
Mm-hmm.
What are we down to? Just Spaceship Earth, right?
Yep.
Did Energy even have one, or just that was the mosaic?
Energy had the mosaic. Imagination had one behind the load. Seas really didn't have one. I mean,
Seas had the outside kind of.
It was the blue, the blue wave sort of thing.
Land had the murals. I guess there's
the land has the mosaics, which are still there. Yes.
Yeah. Did Motion have anything?
Trying to think if was it behind the load area? I don't remember anything behind the load area really.
Well, they also had the part of the load area they walled up like instantly.
Yeah.
So it might have been something in there.
Could be. No, but definitely Horizons, I think, is the most... Well, Horizons was kind of the biggest, too.
Yeah, I think the real one was something like 60 feet long.
I have a solution, quite possibly.
Ooh, that's an interesting solution.
Let's see. Because we can only stall for so much longer.
We can. We could talk about Epcot murals for the rest of the evening.
I know you two can talk about Epcot murals for the rest of the evening. That is not always the
way Imagination was done, I never even realized it was a mural because it was kind of the white background.
Yeah, no, but Imagination definitely was there. It doesn't look like Motion really had one.
We better stop stalling sooner. We're going to get Epcot theme songs, and that will really go all night.
If you are concerned about the future of Epcot, you should listen and tune in to WDW News Tonight tomorrow, where we will be trying to fix Future World. That's WDW News Tonight tomorrow at 10 p.m.
And that's not Eric.
Oh, wait.
No, it's not.
It is not Eric, but hold on. Hold on. Michael, you may be filling in. I'm not sure. We might have our first ever substitution on Around the Hub. We're waiting to see if Eric can get in. If not, Mike, you will be continuing the game with 1 point.
Hopefully I'm just pinch hitter right now. I'm actually still trying to pack for Comic-Con. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Well, that's awesome. Guess what? That'll earn you a point. You're going to Comic-Con. There you go. Now you got 2 points for Eric. If Eric comes back in, he will take over. Nope. We will get you next week. Mike, are you ready to fill in?
What's the question?
Well, you're going to find out right now.
Doing this all improv, so.
Here we go. Michael Batista. Batista, did I say it right?
Batista.
Batista, like, Drax, the Destroyer there. All right, let's talk the new dining hotspot, Disney Springs. What restaurant are you most looking forward to dining at next?
It hasn't opened yet. The Planetarium. That is going to be based off the Planet Hollywood, because the original plans and some of the ideas for Tomorrowland involved an interactive Jules Verne, that whole steampunk vibe, and I really want to see. I am one of the tech guys from WDWNT, so I love technology. I love all of the steampunk stuff. I'm going to Comic-Con. There might be some steampunk stuff there.
A little small chance.
So I'm really looking to see. It's something that has that Victorian era, and it's different. Everything is all new and shiny. This has got that little bit of that antique vibe, going with the whole idea of Disney Springs as an evolutionary city.
Mm. All right, Mike doing a great job filling in for the departed Eric Lance. He's not dead. He just is not able to rejoin us. Ron with a follow-up. Go ahead.
There's one problem with looking forward to the new Planet Hollywood. The food's still going to be Planet Hollywood.
True story there. Moving on, and we'll stick with you, Ron. The Polite Pig, Blaze Pizza, and the Edison have not yet opened at Disney Springs. Which do you think will be the most popular?
I have to go with, from what little I know of it, the Polite Pig. I think anybody who follows a lot of locals on Twitter sees the Ravenous Pig by the same owners come up constantly. A restaurant in Winter Park that supposedly is one of the best, if not the absolute best restaurant in Central Florida. And with good, more southern-style food, their prices look fantastic. The menu looks great. I think it's going to be a runaway counter service hit with a place that just got a lot of great counter service.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of great counter service. You are correct, sir. Jason, what cuisine is Disney still missing?
You know, that's a tough question because so many places have opened in Disney Springs. So it's hard for me to figure out exactly what else they could have. But you know, part of the problem is anything a little bit too exotic. Like I'm thinking Ethiopian or Afghanistan cuisine, which I've had and are very good. They're way too exotic for Disney Springs. They're probably a bit exotic along the lines of Marrakesh in Epcot even.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to say what might go well in there. But you know, the Downtown Disney in Anaheim has a Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen, which is very good. And I'm thinking that's got some like Southern Creole style. That would probably be a good addition. I would definitely partake of that for sure.
Yeah, all good answers there. Mike, we're going to go back to you, switching gears over to food and wine. Is there enough new things to attract repeat customers this year? You're muted.
Sorry, I was too busy setting up my whiteboard. Yeah, it says you are not here, and I just pulled one of my old maps. I have not personally been yet to Food and Wine. Its schedules has just never worked out. So I travel a lot to a lot of random things. So there's always the appeal for the first timer, and not for anything, and not everybody can go at the same time. Certainly school teachers and families with children can only get down at that certain time, but a lot of other couples and a lot of other families can only meet in other different times. Their schedule can be worse, so there's always going to be new people coming into Food and Wine, so there'll always be something new. It's always just what you say is true from a certain point of view.
I like the way you're thinking there. Ashley, although it's only food adjacent, what do you think about the Chase Lounge during the Food and Wine Festival?
I I think it's a great idea. I've personally done it a couple of times, and it's a wonderful place to just go and sit and take a break, especially you know, a little bit later in the evening around 8 o'clock. And I know they let us before. I'm not sure if it's a common thing, but they let us take our food and our drinks up there with us. So it was a really nice place to be able to go and sit and just have a quiet place. And of course, the free sodas and all doesn't hurt. And, you know, by the time you've rested there a little bit, you're ready to go out and circle around again. So I really love it.
Coke freestyle for days. I do believe we have Ron with a follow-up point. Go ahead.
Yeah, the one problem with the Chase Lounge is now that you could pre-book it, I think is finally Disney planning jumping the shark. I mean, you're pre-planning just a rest period now to just go up there when you think you're going to want to go sit and have a relaxing drink. I think that's really the point where making a reservation has really just surpassed all reason.
Is that for real? Like, I saw that email today, and I was very curious as to... I thought that was a separate thing.
I thought that was just going upstairs for the lounge, and it sold out quickly.
I'm going to be unhappy with that. I'll have to check back. Jason, you ought to follow up?
Yeah, you asked Mike about is there enough to attract repeat customers. Food and Wine is always so crowded. I'd be glad for 1 year if there weren't as many repeat customers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Be really great to see, actually, with that. All right, we're going to hop back over. Oh, no, wait. I have a little spiel here. Moving on from general food topics to specific ones. A new restaurant will be opening soon in Hollywood Studios. Mike, we're back to you. Let's talk Pizza Rizzo.
First off, ask a New Yorker about pizza.
First off, do you like the name?
A little bit. Granted, I'm from the area of Pizza Rat, so I have... yes, Pizza Rat. And the Muppets have already cooked food in Manhattan. So they have known the New York style. Rizzo is probably the best person to be cooking your food of all the Muppets. Because you don't want any Swedish meatballs on your pizza.
Jason, second, do you think pizza's the right cuisine?
Well, it depends on if it's pizza that's going to be good or pizza that's going to be Toy Story Pizza Planet. I think the problem is that pizza is a good cuisine for theme parks. It's easy, kids like it. It's replacing a pizza restaurant, so I honestly think there'd be a bit of an uproar if there was no pizza available in Hollywood Studios anymore. So yeah, I think pizza is definitely the right cuisine. I think it's going to be successful. I mean, Pizza Planet was successful for how bad it was. So you know, like we said about this week's Around the Hub, it can't be worse than last year. Well, Pizza Rizzo can't be worse than Pizza Planet.
I think that's the first ever point I've given for insulting the show. Actually, Mike brought up Swedish meatballs. Do you think that the long-rumored idea of a Swedish chef restaurant would have been more warmly received?
Oh, absolutely. I think, you know, we've all said it here, Pizza Planet had such a terrible reputation that I think, you know, even if it still had pizza, theming it to the Swedish chef and having more options than just pizza, you can't go wrong with giving people more choices. And I think they could have done maybe not necessarily quick service pasta because that never seems to go overly well, but they could have still had other Italian options, maybe a Swedish meatball sandwich because some people do like their Swedish meatballs. IKEA is testament to that. So I personally would have even liked it better. I mean, who wants rats cooking your food? As much as I love Rizzo, like Pizza Planet was bad enough, and now you have rats cooking it. Come on.
Remy would like to sing differently. Mike, go ahead, follow it up.
Let's remember that Disney hasn't had the best track record when it comes to Italian food. We have Pizza Planet, Mama Melrose's, and Tony's Town Square. The only place that really does a good Italian food is Via Napoli. And that's really because they're using the Italian meats. So I don't think you're going to get that kind of quality Italian food from Pizza Rizzo. It's going to be a bit more of an American New York style, hopefully.
They're big points there. Ron knows how to get them. All you got to do is mention New Haven style pizza. All right, Ron, do you think this is the end of the Muppets expanding their footprint in Hollywood studios?
Wait, Pizza Rizzo's Muppet themed? I thought it was Grease themed.
I hate you so much.
Yeah, I think for now we're going to see a little bit of a pullback on Muppets at the studios. There's so much else being added. I don't see them needing to put anything else Muppets themed in there. Maybe something temporary while the construction's going on, but I really can't see anything large scale going there. There's just no demand for Muppet stuff from the general public, it seems.
Yeah, certainly wasn't demand for the television show. All right, that brings to a close the first segment of our first round. As we take a look at the scoreboard, we see Ashley and Mike subbing for Eric, tied at 18, although 17 of those points are Mike. One of those is Eric, so we'll see if that weighs into it. We also see a tie for first place with both Ron and Jason at 21 points. Just a quick reminder to our panelists and to the audience out there, we do not do follow-up points in the Keys to the Kingdom round. In the second segment of our first round, we take a tour around the entire Disney company as we have the Keys to the Kingdom. Here, we are going to make some quick points on the news of the Disney Empire. Ron, which would get your money, Club Villain or Mickey's Not So Scary?
Yeah, the club things haven't ever really interested me, and even though there's not a lot going new to Not So Scary, I think it's still worth it. As, you know, old as those fireworks and parade are, they're still probably the best fireworks and parade at Walt Disney World. And the Hocus Pocus show, it's only its second year, so a lot of people haven't seen it. That might be one of the best stage shows I've ever seen. Throw on that, you get a lot of great meet and greets. You get candy, you get the rides. I think it's still worth the money, even with the tiered pricing. I don't know if it's worth the $105 on Halloween, but it's definitely still probably the most worth the money.
All right. Mike, is enough being done each year to special events to garner repeat customers?
I think there's a little too much actually going on. There's always a different event going on, whether it's food and wine, whether it's the flower and garden, whether it's Mickey Not So Scary Halloween, whether it's the Christmas decorations. It almost seems like there's barely enough time for the actual Magic Kingdom to just be the Magic Kingdom without much of the seasonal decorations. Sometimes that's the only time when people can go, and they just want to see the Magic Kingdom for the Magic Kingdom. So, is there too much for repeat goers? Again, when do you repeat? Is it always at the same time? Is it at the same time over the year?
Mike, I like the perspective you're bringing in here. Ashley, Carousel of Progress got some fresh paint and a little bit of love. What do you think?
I actually really like it. I haven't seen enough reaction yet to know if I'm in the majority or the minority, but I do kind of like the idea that they use bright colors because that will draw more people into it instead of just, you know, assuming that it's a spinning building with nothing in it. And the more people they can draw into it, the better, because that means the longer it will stick around. And I'm firmly of the belief that it needs to be there forever. And I think it's a good sign that hopefully the rest of Tomorrowland is going to get a little love as well. And prayerfully, we will finally get rid of Stitch.
One day. Jason, BFG, Big Friendly Giant, ladies and gentlemen. Big Friendly Giant seems to be a flop. Did Disney do all it could for the Spielberg vehicle?
What's BFG?
Again, Big friendly giant.
Does that answer your question? I haven't seen anywhere near the publicity for BFG that I've seen for like Finding Dory and anything like that. I really think that Disney did not put their full force marketing behind BFG. I don't know why. Maybe because Finding Dory's still in theaters. And still doing well for that matter. There's also, some other animated films out there that are doing really well. I think this weekend has been the 5th weekend in a row where an animated film has taken the #1 spot in the box office. So it's hard really to know why they hadn't put a lot of marketing muscle behind BFG. But they certainly haven't. No, not at all.
Giving it the old John Carter treatment there. Eric, at the start of the summer, Disney put all of its DCOMs, Disney Channel original movies, on demand. Do you have a favorite DCOM? Oh, I said Eric. Mike, that question's to you. Still on the script.
Well, now they're on demand. You don't have to look at the schedule. I can't believe I missed that with the Woody Page before I'm talking before on the calendar. Do I have a favorite Disney Channel original movie? I actually have to go with Xenon. And I know I'm kind of dating myself with it. But if there's anything that Xenon brought into the future, it's a tablet. Xenon was always on the tablets. Xenon was on the smartphones before they were smart. She was FaceTiming. And all we're missing is the space station. And we kind of have the spinning space station from Horizons in Mission Space.
Cetus Lapidus.
And who can forget Supernova Girl?
That's a good song. It is a good track. Ron, should the Disney Channel deal more in nostalgia, leaving newer programming to XD and Junior?
No, I don't think the Disney Channel should be moving in that direction. I think the Disney Channel should be the one that broadcasts the most wide variety of stuff. Leave Junior and XD to their targets. Keep it that wide variety, but I think there should be a Disney Classics channel. There's such a back catalog of old movies, shorts, TV shows, true life adventures, all these things that could really fill a specialized network. And given the amount of specialized networks we see out there, I think this one would have just as much demand.
Yeah, that's a really great point. They're doing a little bit of that with Turner Classic Movies, but so much more to offer. Jason, should more Disney XD shows be going beyond 2 seasons? Are they self-sabotaging and ruining their chance to build popular series?
The problem, I think, with Disney XD is that no one watches it. There are very... and I'm not saying that derogatorily on purpose. It's just that there are a lot of people who get Disney Channel on cable and they don't get Disney XD. So until something, I think, really hits the top of the list in terms of the fan feedback, they're just trying a lot of different things until they find something that sticks. So, I don't know that they're sabotaging their chances to build a popular series, because after 2 seasons, you should really know from viewer feedback and numbers whether it's popular or not. So I think what they're trying to do is find something that's going to be, the blockbuster, and they haven't found it yet.
They did find it, but the creator decided he only wanted to go 2 seasons. Of course, I am talking about the greatest show ever made, Gravity Falls. Ashley, your last chance for points in the round. Do you go into the pit of despair? Do you move on? Spoilers coming. Are you excited that General Thrawn will be the big bad in Rebels Season 3?
Honestly, it's on my list of things to watch, but I don't watch Rebels as of yet. I do listen to Nerd Alert, so I've heard about it, and I do want to watch it.
That'll get you points.
And so I've heard, and I heard the announcement. I've heard people talking about it, so I actually Googled who he was since I've never heard of him. And I read that he was part of the extended universe before Disney canceled the extended universe. And so I do think it's wonderful that they're bringing something back that people have heard of and had an attachment to, because I know a lot of Star Wars fans were really upset when they got rid of the extended universe. So I think this gives hope that some of it will come back. Probably some of the better parts, and maybe just make it a more cohesive story and maybe a little bit easier to follow for people like me who want to learn more about, and follow more of the Star Wars story, but, are so far behind that it would feel like you'd never catch up if they kept everything.
Great points there, Ashley, and that saves you from the pit of despair. But who will be going in as we take a look at the scoreboard right now? Ashley with 31 points. Ron Deanna with 32. Does Jason or Mike go plummeting into the pit of despair? Jason, you have 33 points and the lead. That means Mike Batista, as the fill-in, you came in, you saved the show. However, you also earned 1 point. Don't mute him yet. Oh, he's still presenting him. I didn't see it. You earned 1 point that was Eric's. So it was tough to really score you there. Thank you for coming in, but Cetus Lapidus, Mike, do you have any last words as you head into the pit of despair?
Oh, well, hey, don't call it a comeback. I was never to begin with. So.
Welcome to our original second round, Disney pin trading. Here we ask our panel to buy, agree, sell, disagree, or trade, somewhere in the middle, a broad statement about the Disney company. We'll be going from Jason down to Ron, down to Ashley, and then mixing the order up as we go on. All right, here we go. Buy, sell, or trade. Jason, my tablet timed out. And that's where the script is. Buy, sell, or trade, Jason. The live-action remake of Pete's Dragon will be a box office and critical success.
I'm gonna buy on this one. I think Jungle Book was decent, but it wasn't quite the box office and critical success. I think Pete's Dragon has got what it's gonna take to do that. It's a little bit more fantasy with the dragon than Jungle Book was. So I think that's going to make it more amenable to kids who are gonna take to it a little better. And Pete's Dragon was one of my favorite Disney films as a kid, so I've kind of got a bias there too. But yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and go for buy.
All right, Ron, buy, sell, or trade. Critical box office success for Pete's Dragon.
I've got a trade on this. I think it's got a lot to overcome with the fans of the original. But luckily, those of us could probably only fill one screening of it anyway. It looks interesting, but I think people are going to wondering, is it a sequel or a complete reboot at this point? And I don't think that's going to help it right away. I think if the critics do like it, I think it will do well. But I really can't, judge its box office so we get at least some reviews in. I think it's really dependent that way.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of interesting things with reviews and how it relates to the box office, so you made a really strong point there. All right, Ashley, buy, sell, or trade, the live-action remake of Pete's Dragon will be a box office and critical success.
I'm going to buy. I think I think it's they've timed it well, is what I'm trying to say. Because as Jason said, he was a big fan of the original when he was a kid, and I think that's going to draw a lot of parents out to take their kids to go see this new one, especially because, unfortunately, Pete's Dragon isn't as well represented and isn't one of those classics that a lot of people still remember. So a lot of people may not even, they're either A, going to take it because it's the nostalgia factor, or B, they're going to go because there is no prior connection to the original. And for them, it's going to be a brand new story. And I think the marketing, it seems very interesting in that, you know, each time I've seen an ad, you see a little bit more, but not so much that they've given it away. So I think that's another great thing. You know, you just see glimpses of the dragon. You don't really understand what's going on. And I think that's going to make a lot of kids curious to want to go see it as well.
All excellent points there. Ron, you're going to start off our next topic. Buy, sell, or trade. If Guardians of the Galaxy is the only Marvel property Disney can get into the parks, they should do it.
I'm gonna sell on that. I don't think they need to do it. At least on the East Coast, we'll say.
Okay.
Putting Guardians in there and not being able to market it is a huge problem. This was, you know, they can't call it Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy anywhere. They can't put up billboards on local or anything local media that can't be national just to advertise it at all. So that's and that's 300-mile radius. That's all of Florida, who's a big portion of their audience. So if they can't target that, it's not worth it. And plus, right now they have enough other franchises going into places, and ones that fit better in the places they're supposedly going to be shoving it in, that it's an unnecessary thing to do without being able to bring in other characters. And, you know, Guardians was a hit, and it was a great movie, absolutely love it, but we don't really know its legs compared to the other characters, because those characters aren't the longest running Marvel characters.
I don't agree, but I like the conviction with which you speak. Ashley, buy, sell, or trade. If Guardians is the only Marvel property Disney can get into the parks, they got to do it.
I'm going to sell as well, especially at least at Walt Disney World. I don't necessarily see the point, much like Ron said at this. I mean, we've got Toy Story going in. We have Star Wars coming. We just had New Fantasyland. Avatar is coming to Animal Kingdom. I understand that they feel that something is needed for Epcot. I mean, I know we did just get Frozen and Soarin', which does sort of count, but I think they feel that they need something bigger, and I understand that, but I don't think that shoving, you know, Guardians in there is going to be the fix. I don't think it fits, and I don't think it's worth it. I think they should hold out and wait until they get everything sorted out the way they want it, and then put Marvel where it fits best, whether, you know, that's studios or, you know, make it fit in Epcot, but do it the right way. Don't just rush it in there and then be stuck with something that you're going to either have to, A, rip out in 5 or 10 years when you get those Marvel rights, or, you know, you're going to have to work around when you get them.
I see Ashley as plugging for my newest attraction, the Captain American adventure. Jason, buy, sell, or trade.
I am going to sell this at a fire sale price. First of all, Guardians of the Galaxy does not belong in Epcot. I would not have a problem with them putting it into the park somewhere, but it doesn't belong in Epcot. There are many other properties that they could put into Epcot that would be a more successful, I think, addition. And the one that comes to the top of my mind right off the bat is the Tron Light Cycle Power Run. That's got a much more Epcot-ish, futuristic theme. It's already done. I mean, that ride's built. They just need to clone it. And it's not a Marvel property, so they can advertise it. I don't see why they would shove something like Guardians of the Galaxy in, which is not going to fit thematically under any possible circumstances. You know, if it's the only Marvel property they can get into the Disney parks, that's fine. They should put it somewhere, just not Epcot.
Contradicted yourself a little bit there. You bought the statement at the end.
I know, and you know, it's hard to you know, I mean, it's a valid question. I don't think it's the only Marvel property they could get into the parks. They just got to try a little harder.
I wonder what the legalese is involving some of the newer characters they have. As you see Spider-Gwen over my shoulder. I mean, I guess Gwen Stacy's still part of the Spider-Man story. But we'll see how that all gets sorted out. Last chance for points before we head to the final round. We're going to start back with you, Jason, and I'm going to make a really big statement here. All signature restaurants at Walt Disney World are overrated. Buy, sell, or trade.
I'm going to trade that one. I think that some certainly are, and some certainly are not. On my mind, the top of the list that's overrated is Le Cellier. Keep in mind, Le Cellier was not a signature restaurant for the longest time. The only reason Le Cellier is a signature restaurant is because it has low capacity. And so that's basically a money grab by Disney that they can get the money by charging 2 credits for it on the dining plan, and there's still demand, so why not do it? It's just like Disney can charge $105 for Mickey's Not So Scary on Halloween. People are willing to pay it. Why not do it? And Mickey's Not So Scary, I think, is very overrated for $105. So yeah, that's definitely one that's overrated. There are certainly some that are not. It really just depends on what kind of experience you're looking for, and and if you like the restaurant, some are very good. I don't have a problem with most of them, actually.
All right, Ron, buy, sell, or trade. All signature restaurants at Walt Disney World are overrated.
I've got a trade. I agree. I agree a lot with what was just said, and there are some that I think are fantastic. Chico is incredibly good. California Grill, the food is excellent. I think the service is not the best there. I think that can be improved at times, but I still think it's worth it. Other one like Brown Derby, I really enjoyed. Le Cellier is definitely mediocre at best for the money you're paying. And other ones I've been to recently, I think Yachtsman was the biggest disappointment. I just, if you're going to a steakhouse, there are better steakhouses on property now that Disney doesn't own. So I think they really need to up their game in that situation, because I'm not going to recommend going to either Yachtsman or Le Cellier when you have places like Boathouse, STK, and Don Shula is right there. It's just, they're not worth it.
All right, Ashley, last chance for points. Can you avoid the pit of despair yet again? Buy, sell, trade, signature restaurants at Walt Disney World. All of them overrated.
I'm going to trade it as well. I think Jason and Ron have both made excellent points. And I guess I'm going to buy it a little bit as well. I think that, especially with Disney Springs opening, the vast majority of them probably do need to step up their game. I haven't personally been to any of the Disney Springs restaurants, but I've heard very few bad things about any of them. And, I mean, if you can get better for even maybe a little less money at Disney Springs, why would you want to go to a signature restaurant in one of the parks? So I guess I do buy it. They definitely are becoming a little overrated. Maybe not all of them just yet, but I think if they don't make some room to improve, they will be probably within a couple years.
All right, that brings to a close our final, or not our final round, our third round. Second round, math is not my strong suit. As we tabulate the scores, we see that there is a tie for first place. Jason and Ron moving on to the face-off round, 51 points each. That leaves Ashley just behind with 49 points, but not a bad showing for a rookie in your first time on Around the Hub. However, it is time for you to go into the pit of despair. We do treat the ladies a little differently. You will be eased gently into the pit of despair, not kicked like we did Mike. Any last words?
Thanks, y'all. It was fun.
My sad trombone. They keep hitting the sad trombone, but nothing happens.
Oh, we're hearing it.
Oh, I don't hear it. That's crazy. In our face-off round, we are playing one of my favorite games that I created. I created all of them, but this one is particularly a favorite of mine. How do you like them apples? Just so you know, when Miramax put out Good Will Hunting, it was owned by Disney, so this is a perfectly fine Disney reference. Pokemon Go is taking over the world and theme parks. what we need our final two panelists to do is develop a Disney-related app that you feel could have the same viral effect that Pokemon Go did. There are no restrictions other than it needs to be an app and Disney-related. No one is in the lead. Jason, you're on the top of my leaderboard, so you will go first. What do you got?
Here's what I'm thinking. A hidden Mickey app where you will walk around the parks and the app will lead you to places that have hidden Mickeys, and you can find them just like you find the Pokemen. Is that a word, Pokemen? Is that the plural of Pokemon? I don't know. But so you've got all of the existing hidden Mickeys that are in the parks. And there's, Disney obviously has a very big list of them. This would allow them to add some more hidden Mickeys to the parks. That would be really cool. I think that, hidden Mickeys and finding them has kind of died off a bit. It should certainly come back with a lot of these new lands opening, but it's not the big thing it was, 5 years ago. Adding more hidden Mickeys, giving them an excuse to add more hidden Mickeys and bring back that fandom and have an app to go with it and find them, and then there can be ones that are temporary and can move after a day or two. I think that's the way to go. It's perfect. It's a perfect Disney property, Mickey Mouse. It's classic Disney, and it can be done in all of the parks. And I think that's the way to go.
Ron, that was one of the strongest final rounds I've seen in a long time. Of course, we haven't done the show in a long time. But now it's your turn. How do you like them apples? What Disney app do you got for me?
I'm going to actually take the AR concept from Pokemon Go and kind of combine it with the gameplay of Disney Kingdoms. You can basically have to go to certain areas and using the phone, you'll see certain characters and you have to have them do things. And this way, you could add extra characters with microtransaction, which Disney would absolutely love. And Tom would have to collect all of them, of course. But it is a way to, generate traffic to areas you need people to go. You can have it like Mickey pops up on your phone and says, "Oh, I need you to go to Carousel of Progress and sit through a show." And you can get your points that way. You can use that to unlock other things in the game instead of having to pay for them, or you can just pay for them because, once again, why wouldn't Disney put in microtransactions? Because they're taking my money left and right in Disney Kingdoms. But I think using that AR interface is something they haven't really done with all the scavenger hunt games in the parks, and it is something that is popular now. And given that everybody's coming out with a VR system, I think it is kind of the wave of the future in gaming. So, and it allows them, and as I said, it allows them to direct traffic. If there's somewhere they need people to go, they could have the servers change where they want to direct traffic. Hey, go to Animal Kingdom for a bonus if the park's empty that day. Plenty of things you can do, and allows them to do what they want and earn revenue.
I have terrible news. You both scored 10 points in that round. Really great ideas. I honestly thought somebody was going to get Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom into an app, which I really think is a tremendous idea, Disney. Add Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom gameplay into an app. It would be great. So here's a tiebreaker question. It will be 1 point awarded. The winner goes on. Loser into Pit of Despair. Ron, you're going to go first. I need a Big Hero 6 attraction.
Big Hero 6. Baymax Flying VR Coaster.
Baymax Flying VR Coaster. Very interesting. Jason, Big Hero 6.
I'm going to do a Big Hero 6 overlay of Universe of Energy because it would have to be better than Guardians of the Galaxy.
I actually really think that would be a great overlay to Universe of Energy. Jason, the victory is yours.
Woohoo!
62-61, Jason wins. Ron, that means in the first episode back in a while, you're headed into the pit of despair. Any last words?
Stupid Jason, stupid energy.
All right, Jason, that means you are this week's victor. That you get you get 30 uninterrupted seconds of a meet and greet to talk about whatever Disney topic you would like. Are you ready?
I suppose.
All right, Jason, your meet and greet starts now.
Coming tomorrow night on listen.wdwnt.com. Tune in live for another episode of WDW News Tonight. And if you haven't already done so, download the brand new WDWNT app on iTunes and Google Play and the Amazon store if you have one of those Kindle things. And tune in next week for another Around the Hub, Tuesday night at 9 p.m.
That brings to a close this week's episode of Around the Hub. I'd like to thank all of our panelists. We had 5 of them this week. Eric, sorry that you couldn't join us. Mike, great job filling in at the last second. Jason and I will wave to them in the pit of despair as we go cruising on by on Victory Highway. That brings to a close our show. Hopefully we will have Around the Hub out in podcast form very soon. If not, tune in next Tuesday at 9 p.m. for another brand new live episode. We're going to do it till I get sick of it. That brings to an end of the show. Thank you all our panelists. Jason, give us that final hub.
Hub!
Let's have a drink on it now.